Now let the continuation of Cinema Royale begin.
So, that's out of the way. So, what other shows did you guys want to mention up front that you guys want to talk about?
I guess I can go with mine right now. Um, One that I want to mention is that actually quite a recent one, and I feel a little bit unfortunate that it only aired for one season, but I'll explain why later. Which, um, funny enough, is actually Napoleon Dynamite, the animated series. This was actually aired not too long ago on Fox. And when was that? Yeah, it was last year. It was in 2012, and it actually brought back all the original cast from the movie, and it's really interesting because it pretty much does the job of what a TV show based on a movie does, which is pretty much expand the characters and who they are. Like we really take a look into like who Napoleon, like what does Napoleon got Dynamite go through and what adventures he goes to. We learn a lot about Kip, about Pedro, about the love interest Deb, Uncle Rico, and all that stuff. Like we see like they really take these characters and really expand upon them, which is interesting to see. And I will admit, it was a good show. A lot of the a lot of the humor is still the same from the original movie, and it's great. I will admit, like it shares a lot of the humor, and it's not that badly written, which I will admit. But one thing I will say that I can see how it's just stayed in one season is that there are times when it does jump the shark. Like often, like they set a more realistic tone in a sense, like try to go to a bit of realism, but like often go into wacky shenanigans, but they do try to go like take things a little too like a little too ridiculous. I remember there was one episode in which they got to go and find something, but like there was a ghost that was guarding it for some reason, and it turns out that ghost was actually a buddy of Uncle Rico's, which didn't really make sense.
Wait a minute,
And
there's ghosts in Napoleon Dynamite now?
just one episode, just one
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
And I remember technically this would be nitpicking, but they did this as a little side gag. Is that Kip would often Kip has this bar in a sense with a band and everything like that, but it was actually some kind of like Chuck E. Cheese joint, and like the band is like those animatronic things, and at the end like the animatronics come to life, and like we see like the head singer is like, "Nice to see you again, Kip," and it's like, what the hell? Which I will admit, it's a funny show. It's too bad that it didn't they didn't go further with it. Actually, just looking at it right now, there's only 6 episodes. Oddly, it's surprisingly, which is weird, but yeah, it's unfortunate it got canceled. It was a pretty decent show. I will say.
Hmm. Yeah, I never saw the show myself. When it comes to the movie Napoleon Dynamite, I never really looked beyond it being quotable. I didn't go crazy for it like a whole lot of folks did. And
Thugs.
folks,
Oh, folks, there's a huge difference between thugs and folks.
I said folks, I don't
I
know
heard
how that.
thugs. I heard thugs like just gonna be everybody smoking, have their guns ready. It's like, oh man, that Napoleon Dynamite is funny. He's so relatable.
What are you kidding? He's a shrieking chimpanzee.
Yo man, I could get into that. I had to feed my llama all the time.
The the
Dude, give
the
me your
film
thoughts.
the films that John Hader did following, some of them I actually thought were a little bit better. I didn't see them all, obviously. But when it came to making the TV show, what probably hurt it was it's it's been it has been so long since the movie uh, had come out that nobody really cared anymore. I mean
Mhm.
that whole trendy phase had just
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is true.
that was one of the things. It's just like it was. I remember when it first came out on Fox. I kind of tried to watch it at the beginning, and I was like, "Wait a minute, oh, why is it coming out now? I should have been like right when the fame came in, like the when the cult, just right away. But it just came out years later."
Yeah. What the hell? I just saw, like, I'm looking through John Heder, and apparently, like, I just found, this is a little off topic, but apparently he appeared in this, like, this some sort of indie movie. Um, it's called Walt Before Mickey, and he actually played as Roy Disney. I don't know. I just want to throw it out there. I just like, what?
Oh wow. Sound. Are you sure that's not a Funny or Die sketch?
No, no, no. This is a legit thing.
Oh.
Like, hold on. Yeah, yeah. Here's the IMDb page. Oh, and it's coming out at the end of the year. Oh, oops. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, check.
Hmm.
Yep,
Holy crap!
yep, that's right. I remember seeing this because Joden Sweden, who plays Stephanie on Full House, plays um uh
Charlotte Disney.
yeah,
I think it's Malt's mother.
something like that. But I thought that was interesting. Like, yeah, the rest I don't know, but yeah,
I just discovered that. This should
it
be
it
interesting.
it should be interesting for you at least. It's based on a
I can
book.
s-
It's based on a book too.
I can sort of see John Hader being Roy Disney, actually.
Yeah, like here, there is a picture. Yeah, he does pull it off. I'll admit, he does pull it off. Funny enough.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hey Roy. Hey Walt, what's going on? Man, bad news. I just lost Oswald. God, freaking idiot. Now you need to make another cartoon character.
So
I'll talk to I'll go talk to God.
What 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 are you drawing there?
It's a
This is a
mouse.
liger.
Can
He
you
makes
make
a
your
cartoon liger.
yeah. Can you make your next character a liger? They're like the best animals ever.
anyways, let's get to the next show and keep this moving along. Uh,
Who wants to go next? I guess I'll go.
Go ahead, dude.
Okay. Moving along. Another. Uh, what do you know? I happen to go from. I happen to go from. Uh, talking about one Disney film gone animated series. Well, here's one I guess you could sort of here's a franchise I guess you could sort of call the mash of TV animation. As in, it's something that just never seems to. It's based on a movie. It never seems to go away. Um, Lilo and Stitch the series.
Oh
oh
my
right,
god,
yep.
yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I it's sort of that whole franchise as it exists now. It's sort of mutated into something. But I I remember when the show was out and I was watching it. I was in college enjoying it and saying, yeah, whatever,
I'll be right back.
And it was a decent series. Um, this is just and it became it started to become obvious at this point that this is just how the Disney company operates with a lot of their stuff. Even even nowadays, and with their animated films, they have always been planning stuff like TV spin-offs or what have you, anything that's popular enough.
Mm.
Not even their animated films. Sky High, at one point, the contract that they had their actors sign said that they might bring them back for a TV series or something if the film was popular enough. But other examples of this where they tried and almost did it would probably be Pocahontas. Yes, that was going to have a TV series. I remember the magazine advert for it. And Brother Bear, which
It was supposed to be, that I remember, it was supposed to be a Root and Toot spin-off in a similar fashion to Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King.
there was that idea of it being a Rut and Took spinoff. There was also a pilot that was produced,
Oh yeah, and that too.
and Brother Bear, the series would have had would have been just them, the bears and the moose, building up this forest family of critters from critters of all types, I guess. With Lilo and Stitch, the series.
I'm sorry to interrupt, James. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just realized this amazing idea. What they should have done for Brother Bear, like as a Brother Bear animated series. Imagine this: it's going to be a big crossover of Brother Bear and Country Bear Jamboree, where not Coda, Kenai, no, damn it, who's the main character? Fudge nabbit.
Kenai and Coda make best friends with Haley Joel Osment Bear.
Yeah, with Barry the Bearing Bear. And they have to learn the ways of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyways, sorry to interrupt. Go on.
Lilo and Stitch, I guess.
I want fan art of that.
Oh, Rule 34.
No, 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 no,
No, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no,
Whoa.
no,
You snapped them two at the same time.
no.
I snapped two critics with one.
There are some things in life I should never experience. The Rule 34.
Zing.
My Little Pony should be one of them, but that's not stopping the internet.
I don't need to see Stitch's penis. Thank you very much.
We were talking about Brother Bear and Country Bear Jamboree, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just off topic.
It would have been a real jamboree, right?
I'm gonna get that mine out of the way. But anyways, what about Lilo and Stitch? What about Lilo and Stitch? What about Lilo and Stitch, the series?
How did I leave on Lilo and Stitch and come back to Country Bear, Jamboree, and Brother Bear?
Because, just to catch you up. Wait,
You just have to listen to the episode, Morgan.
Yep. I'm not gonna spoil it then.
With the concept that that the Brother Bear TV series would have had, building up a family of different kinds of animals. Lilo and Stitch, the TV series, is the whole premise is building up the Ohana with all of Stitch's cousins, which are all which are all alien
Mhm.
alien
Experiments.
experiments with different quirks and talents.
I'm trying to remember. Doesn't he
And
fall in love with one of them at one point, or is that
I think
yeah,
just
so.
okay?
Yeah.
Ew.
yes, Angel.
Just ew.
Oh,
Ew.
that's right. I remember that. I do.
Ew.
But yeah, basically
That
the
was cute. She was
If
pink.
they give
It's a
Genie
cousin. It's a cousin.
if they give Genie a love
Awesome.
if they give
Ah!
Genie a love interest, then they'll
Ah!
also give Stitch a love interest.
I'll give him this much. Bobcat Goldthwait is one of Stitch's cousins. I'm all for.
Okay. We have here's the Disney tree of incest. We got Bambi and Feline. We've got we got Lucky and Two Tone, and now we've
Lucky
got
and tripod.
Then we got Kovu and Kiara, which is pretty much Simba's cousin marrying Simba's daughter.
and Stitch and Angel.
Well, technically,
Um,
oh yeah, but then there's the argument that he's adopted. So wait, yeah,
Yeah.
running themes in Disney.
yes,
adoption solves everything.
this would
This is
make
a
a great
fucked up
episode for
corporation.
Renegade Cut. Disney and incest.
Oh God.
This is a fucked up corporation. No wonder why they made
But
Extinction Tomorrow.
yeah, after Lilo and Stitch the TV series, they had one finale with a made direct to video film called Leroy and Stitch, which
Oh,
brought
yeah.
everything to a climax. And you thought that was the end of it, and what do you know? Stitch was still popular in Japan.
Yep. Yeah, that I was shocked when I heard the Stitch anime, which which oddly enough, it looks like something that it was done if Chris Sanders decided to work at Studio Ghibli. That's the thing. The human characters look like they were like Studio Ghibli characters.
It's the very definition of mixed bag, but you don't want to go digging through that bag and finding out what it is. Um, to me, they almost. I remember watching the first episode, and they destroyed the whole Ohana concept in the first 5 minutes of the episode, but later in the third episode, tried to fix that a little bit. Um, in the first 5 minutes of the Stitch anime, we are led to believe that Lilo grew up or grew older and tossed Stitch aside for some cute boy.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
Do we
And
need to give Lilo a love interest as well?
um,
Yes, it's Andy Samberg from Hotel Transylvania.
Oh God, no, 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 no,
uh-oh!
no. No,
Sorry.
wait,
Um,
James. I think you were thinking of Baby Brent.
Yeah,
Sorry
same
about
actor though.
yeah,
The
same dick bag, same
the
annoyance.
the annoy the opportunity was there.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And so for the longest time I said, well, gee whiz, Lilo tossed aside Stitch for a boy. Ohana, right? No one gets left behind or forgotten. And wouldn't you know it, in the third episode, uh, here's the premise of the show. Stitch is transported a couple of years into the future, into Okinawa, Japan, where he meets up with a young girl named Luna, who is the Lilo character for this series. Like she needed a replacement, I guess. And the third episode comes along, and we find adult Lilo and her daughter are vacationing in Japan.
Oh, you forgot Robo Leo.
I'm only remembering what's important. Um, they just
Well put.
they just sort of decided to at, they just there was a whole miscommunication between them. They discovered that whole thing that happened, splitting between them in the past was all a big misunderstanding, and they sort of decide to, yeah, they're still Ohana, but they're going to be Ohana from afar now because Stitch lives in Japan. Um, we need a TV series with a little girl.
Yeah, if there
We
is one
need to
thing,
appeal to the Japanese audience this way, I guess.
if there is one thing that I will mention about the Lilo and Stitch series, there is one reason, and funny enough, it's actually quite a recurring theme. It's mostly of Chris Sanders movies because, well, Chris Sanders is the director. And the reason why Lilo and Stitch was a pretty successful series, and the fact that it also made an anime series, is not really the concept of Ohana, but also the idea of making so many aliens. Because keep in mind, Stitch's Experiment 626, like they can go out and make the other 625 characters like in the shows and stuff like that. So like
Mm-hmm.
they have an entire like they pretty much have a hook that really makes the show rewatchable and like give a lot of creative ideas of different aliens to expand upon.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say this is kind of a recurring theme for Chris Sanders movies is that they did it again, not Disney, but they did it with How to
How to
Train Your
Train Your
Dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah, with dragons. Essentially, they have the liberty to go and create as many different dragons as they want, and since he was also the director of The Croods, I wouldn't be surprised if Dreamers decided to go and make a series out of that, so we can go explore the jungle and see more different animals, you know,
That's right, he was the
that are in.
Croods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
I
a
forgot
cute
about
movie.
that. The body types of the characters, yeah, that would sort of make sense.
Well,
Not
in
to mention the
the Croods is more noticeable in the animals than the characters per se. I feel like the characters in the Croods are a little more. I don't know. They look more like rag dolls. They don't look like regular Chris Sanders characters. If you
Does
know what I mean.
somebody have a transformer stuck in their cell phone?
why have you smuggled something from the fourth film that we should know
I think
about?
my I think Optimus Prime owed Mike a favor.
Oh, Ferris, you struck again.
Yep. Sorry, that was my phone. So, yeah. So yeah, Lilo Stitch series. I remember watching the show, and yeah, the whole gimmicky thing was the experiments. They have their quirky thing about it, and always at the end of the episode is that Lilo has to find a place for that experiment to uh, be at using their skill in while so they don't get rid of it or somehow just like adoption kind of thing. Like you can do this here and be happy.
Mm-hmm. Find a place in the world for everybody, which is kind of a nice idea.
I think my favorite one was a giant kangaroo, like one that controls the waves. Just the way it was like giant, pink, and just happy, just causing a whole lot of tsunami destruction.
You
It's like
forgot
just
you didn't.
cannonball straight into it, and giant waves engulf the beach.
I thought yours might be Bobcat experiment.
Oh no, that was I was building up to that. That was my runners up. My all-time favorite was the Bobcat one.
Oh, it was?
It was. I think my favorite line was, "And as for Bleakley, not a woman."
Legally not a woman. Yeah.
It was just so plain the way he said it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Bobcat was an experiment.
Hmm. A good experiment.
Yes, a very good experiment.
Nosy, number
Yeah,
199.
still has the voice.
Yeah, yeah, good times.
Indeed.
So Morgan, why don't you go ahead with another TV show?
Should I talk about the pilot I panned through last night or a good TV series I was going to bring up?
Uh, since you told me what it was, you might as well go into the one you saw recently. Uh,
Okay. Mel Brooks made a comic masterpiece in the 1970s. He had no say on this TV show, like Ferris Bueller. The good thing is, it only lasted one pilot. It was never picked up by CBS. CBS.
Yay.
Oh.
The bad news, it aired in the summer as a special. So people were treated to a grand half hour of Black Bart.
What?
What?
There
They
was a.
made they made a pilot off of Blazing Saddles.
They thought that character. Oh no. I'm
Oh
thinking of a
no.
different character from the film.
Oh my god.
Entirely different cast. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody from the original movie is in it. They have someone similar to the Wacko Kid, but the running gag is like, oh, he's trying to go off the liquor, but even though he promises, he still gets fucking plastered. Um, Slim Pickens isn't there. He's replaced with some other nobody who's completely weak. Harvey Korman is replaced with this Boss Hogs wannabe from the Dukes of Hazards. He's just this fat. Well, he's not really fat. He's sort of this Boss Hogs kind of villain, and he's very sort of money grubbing. Like there's this weird running gag where Bart is trying to acquire a gun or something like that, and he does it in the most pathetic, cheapest way near the end. Uh, Madeline Kahn is replaced with some other floozy with an eye patch, and they do the most biggest disservice of all. They also give Black Bart not Mongo, but an Apache sidekick who looks like as if he's from Boy George. They give him the hat and the pigtails and everything, and he's supposed to be like an Indian, but he looks like a reject from the Boy George band. It's terrible.
Culture Club.
Do
Yeah.
you really want to hurt me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Culture
And it gets
Club.
and it gets worse. The whole storyline of the pilot is that said villain is causing an uproar and he's causes this guy to dance, even though the guy's just like shuffling his feet slowly. And so he tries to capture him and he does, and he vouches for a fair trial, which they do. And then at the end, because they have no witnesses, because said mayor slash banker slash villain got rid of all the witnesses by means of vacation. They decide not to have a trial. Here's the punchline. Blackbart's the judge. He gets an idea. What does he say? I order now the next case. The people versus so and so. This could last for an entire week or maybe even 9 weeks.
Huh?
And yeah, that's the style of the humor. It's really stupid. And they have a laugh track. A fucking laugh track. Even when the humor is like bluntly stupid and it doesn't even make sense. And it gets worse. It gets even more mind blowing. The movie Blazing Saddles. was dealing with racism, but in a
Satirical way.
satirical way. Thank you. The sheriff's a nig dong. What does he say? The sheriff's getting near. That's funny. That's funny. Because, here he's coming, they don't know what to expect, and they realize the sheriff's black, and that's when they all go nuts. Because it's funny because of the prejudice. Here, Bart is already the sheriff. So they keep alluring to the fact they can't believe the sheriff is... You get the idea. And the worst part is, they drop the N-word.
On television.
The actual engine, not I'm gonna get a lot of angry letters and I apologize. Not knee Miracle Grow, but
Mm-hmm.
the one that rhymes with Tigger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
They
boy.
actually drop the N dash 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 R word
The queen mother of
of
all
all
racial
words.
slurs.
And this is on CBS. And they air this as a summer special. But no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a sample of the humor. There's a scene where Bart's going into this candy shop, and the owner is complaining about this kid stealing, and he's actually trying to get a voucher for the kid to be hanged
For
over
stealing?
licorice. Over licorice. And then Black Bart's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay 5p for this, pay a quarter for that, all this, and he won't go to jail. Get out of here." And then the guy's all like, "We wouldn't have this if we just kept doing these hangings." I'm sitting there going, is this the humor? Is this legitimately the humor? Lynching criminals no matter what age they are? Really?
You know what would be really
It's funny
hilarious
because
though
they
is if
killed him.
the E20 or robot or whatever from RoboCop came in and
Yeah,
started
Yes! Riding on the killdozer!
we need
riding
the
on the
E20.
killdozer.
Riding on the
We
killdozer.
just need the E20 in the middle of the street.
And then there's
Why?
Mm-hmm.
this
Because
and then there's this
just
weird
put it
running
there.
gag where not Madeline Kahn is like whoring herself out, and it's not done very well. She keeps making references to having quote unquote certain connections with the Apache tribe and owing them favors, if you know what I
Well,
mean.
yeah.
She's a whore! Ha ha ha! Laugh at the whore with an eye patch! With a German accent! Ha ha ha!
That actually sounds sexy, oddly enough.
Not
I am
sexy!
just so tired of falling in love with Apaches.
It was like eye patch girl with a German accent.
And even though this is way before
Not bad, not bad.
and even though this is way before the Zucker brothers did the Police Squad, which in return that became the Naked Gun, I can see what they're doing, but the humor is so dead flat, and it's obviously trying to do a Bonanza parody instead of like doing every single Western out there. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work because they just make the humor so sitcom-y and deadpan that it limits the outrageous moments. Mel Brooks had a handle with the Western stuff. He had a really good handle on how to make things so simple and yet outrageous at the same time. And that's what made Blazing Saddles unpredictable, completely, rewatchable over and over again. Here, it's like every single sitcom you can think of wrapped them into one, only they're parodying every single Western you've seen on TV and not every single Western you've seen on film, where it's taking those stereotypes and making them fun, happy, lighthearted. And when I mean fun and happy, I mean not to the point where it's like very offensive. Well, it's offensive, but in a funny way where you're meant to laugh at it. Seriously, the scene Blazing Saddles with the KKK members looking at Gene Wilder, the Wacko Kid, Gene Wilder's a Wacko Kid, and Bart, and they get their attention with Bart saying, "Hey, where are all the white women at?" That's that's that,
Yes.
that's funny. See, that's funny because it's tapping into a stereotype. Here, the humor is so limited and sitcom it doesn't work. There's only one good joke I did laugh at. Just one good joke. And that's when he's having the shoot off with the villain. And there's a bit where him and the Indian are like shooting and stuff, and the villain, along with like his 12 members, start running like hell. And then they stop for a second. They realize, hey, wait a minute. And then the leader's like, hey, wait a minute, why are we running? There's 2 of them and 12 of us. And then cuts back to Black Bart, looks at his Indian friend. I was wondering when they're going to realize that. A legitimate
Okay,
joke!
that's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
What if the whole episode was like that? I would have been fine with it. That's like the one good joke, and that was it. Everything else was just crap. It's
No movie, don't ruin the one good joke.
But it did. It just did. Even afterwards, when they're captured and the mayor comes in, he obviously reveals he's the villain. It's like, well, no shit. I had favors with this guy. Really? That's just like Blazing Saddles. So what this really is just 1 hour and a half scrunched into a stupid sitcom. And it doesn't work. They don't even do the whole breaking the fourth wall thing where they have the all-out brawl and they go into the Warner Brothers lot. No. They just keep this so contained and sitcom in its own little universe that it just feels like you're watching a really piss-poor Bonanza parody. And even that doesn't work on its own merits. So...
We apologize for nothing because we didn't make you sit through.
No, you decided to do it on your own time.
Instead, we will just say sorry you had to.
Sit through
Felt
that.
like you had to watch that.
I think you should be sorry for Warner Brothers because they include it as a supplement on the Blazing Saddles DVD. That is an insult
Yeah,
alone.
yeah, on the
Oh.
DVD and Blu-ray.
That is an insult alone.
Yeah,
This fucker got a bonus feature release.
on the
How do you
30th
think it's circulating on the web?
on the 30th anniversary DVD and Blu-ray. You can check it out,
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch.
but it's on YouTube as well.
Wait, actually, Mike, you better take that back. Don't say check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding.
Don't.
Pulling on your leg, guys. I'm just being sarcastic.
The deleted scenes where Mongo is getting tricked into a well are funnier than this. Go in and dive for Spanish doubloons. What? Spanish balloons?
That's funny.
Okay, let me get into another show. This is gonna be my last show, and you guys can just finish the rounds with your shows. So, the other show that I actually have on DVD is Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, which is a spin-off series that takes place after the second film. And I kind of rewatched the pilot recently just to get into it and try to understand, try to refresh my memories when I first watched it on DVD. And it's kind of interesting, like, these Terminators come back to kill John Connor and Sarah Connor, and
Like, we don't need enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
the reason why they come back is that even though they killed the person who originally built Skynet, somebody else built Skynet, and they have to find out who built Skynet now and try to destroy it. And yeah, the pilot episode pretty much sets it up really well. Let's see the backstory. The pilot episode is set in 1999 and introduces Sarah and her son John and Cameron. Get this, Cameron. That's a hint to James Cameron, by the way.
Oh, it's James Cameron.
Yep. A Terminator that has been reprogrammed to protect John. They're being pursued by a Terminator named Cromartie, sent back through time to assassinate John, and also by FBI Special Agent James Ellison, who initially believes Sarah is an insane criminal based on the events of the second film. Sarah is romantically involved with a paramedic named Charlie, but ends her relationship with him to stay on the run. During the pilot, Sarah and John and Cameron make a temporal leap to 2007. Carmarty suffers extensive damage while trying to kill them, but begins repairing his exoskeleton and artificial flesh and continues his search for John in 2007. Because John is frustrated with their life of running, Sarah resolves to go on the offensive against Skynet. Yet the world in 2007 proves complex. They find Skynet has sent additional Terminators back in time to support its own creation, and the resistant movement has sent back its own fighters to infiltrate. As they seek out a computer chess player, a chess computer named the Turk, which they suspect may be a precure to Skynet, they forge an alliance with Derek Reese, resistant fighter and John's uncle. As the show progresses, the Connors are confronted with the reality that they will find more enemies either at the present or from the future, bent to reshape the futures of their own goals.
So how does this make sense with the continuity of the movies that came after?
Um, Let me get back to that for a sec. Where was I?
2007, 2001. I'm just
Um,
saying, you know.
yeah. It's actually eventually as the show goes on, it does focus on John Connor than Sarah Connor, so it should be called the John Connor Chronicles. But it kind of has a lot of good twists and turns in it, trying to figure out who is Skynet and who how they gonna figure it out. The cast is kind of interesting. You got Lena Henley as Sarah Connor, who you may know if you're Game of Thrones fans. She's in that show now. She's in this show as well. Thomas Dekker, I just made this connection today. Thomas Dekker plays John Connor. Now he played a different character in another TV show based on a film.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Dekker played the was Adam Selinsky from the Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV show.
Oh boy, so he has a great agent.
Yeah, apparently. I just it's like wow, and they're different apart because he was 10 years old when he did Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV show, and now he's much older now, and you can tell a difference now because if you watch Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV show,
Honey, I Shrunk the Tits.
That's terrible.
That's like the best title for a porno ever.
Delicious.
Honey, I think I shrunk your tits. Starring Pamela Anderson.
Okay, I was gonna say that you can tell the difference between as he grows older because he was a young kid when he's got a squeaky voice, but he got into puberty in this series because he's got a deep, grassly voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he does very well for being John Connor. I mean, he was way better than frickin' Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV series. I mean, but then you got Cameron, the Terminator. She's played by Summer Glau, who you may know from Firefly and Serenity.
I wouldn't know her from that, but anyway.
I'm talking to the viewers, not to you, James. You fucking.
Wait, we have viewers?
Yeah, that's news to me. Hi, Devin.
Hi, Mom.
Hmm?
Hi, Debbie.
Who are you people? I thought this is my own private hub. I thought I'd say whatever crap I want without people listening.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
So,
I'm not famous anymore.
so, goddamn, it is a good show. It's not a bad show. I would rather watch Terminator 2, and then this series in order, and just skip 3 altogether, and that's my opinion. Some people out there like 3. I didn't like 3 that much.
What
I
about
liked
Terminator
it.
Salvation?
Oh, that no, I can
I
do
hated
without.
So it has 2 seasons, and the first season only had 9 episodes. And then they're like, let's renew it, and they have a full season for second season, which
Hmm.
did not make any sense because I was like, wait, has the first season's like 9 episodes? It just does not make any sense because this is the box. This is the smallest box you ever seen. It's just freaking. It's got what, 3 discs? That's it. Second season, it's a much thicker disc, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs. It's like, what?
They were like, let's actually do some work on this time.
Exactly. They just wanted to expand the story, and it's worth it. It's actually a good. That's they built. And what I say originally is like they expand the universe, they expand the story. They just like, wait, let's just say somebody else built Skynet. How do we do that? They just go with it, and they have fun with it. And now I hear that with the new Terminator coming out, they're gonna have another Terminator series.
Yes, it's a reboot.
Yeah, so to coincide with that film, they're going to have a TV show on top of that. So we're going to see if that's worth watching or not.
Hmm?
Mm.
You're gonna see if that's worth watching. I'm gonna stay home.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the viewers.
Are we the
We
new
have
people?
viewers.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's hear the last show from Matt.
Me? Well, I'm sure a lot of you guys find it weird that James keeps on talking about these Disney shows while I'm talking about the random ones like Napoleon Dynamite and Bill and Ted. But anyways, now it's gonna be my turn that I'll go into a Disney show in which it was based on a movie. And this one, I think out of all of them, is possibly the most interesting. Yes, you got your Aladdins and you got your Little Mermaids and stuff, but then comes Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Mm.
Now in the original movie of Toy Story, we know that Buzz Lightyear is a toy that's pretty much, I think it's like based off a show or like based off a show in the movie or something. But then Buzz Lightyear, you would expect like a show about Buzz Lightyear is like, oh, we see Buzz Lightyear in like Adventures in Andy's Room. No, 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 no. This is like legit Buzz Lightyear as he was supposed to be conceptualized in the like in the movie, pretty much, where he is a space ranger, and he goes and like we see him actually go out in space adventures with teammates going out against the evil Emperor Zurg. And the only reference they ever did to what was it, to the original Toy Story is pretty much Buzz Lightyear. It's like we get Pixar computer animation, like of Buzz Lightyear going to the TV and like opening it's Buzz Lightyear now.
Yeah, it's like in the intro of it, yeah.
hmm And what's interesting about Buzz Lightyear Star Command is how they actually started with a direct to DVD movie, which they brought back Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, which is pretty much a pretty much kind of the pilot of the movie where he was supposed to be. I remember very well actually. Buzz had a partner which he lost, which turns out he didn't, and like the guy just turned out to be a bad. Like now he's turned into a bad guy, and like he's having a hard time to be with 3 new people, which consists of a blue skinned girl, this giant alien dude, and like a robot with a Futurama style like head inside of a jar. And it's really it's not that bad for the show itself. It's not that bad. Like they couldn't get Tim Allen to do like all of it. Like they replaced him with Patrick Warburton. Burton afterwards, which is kind of funny in itself. But
Drunk.
yeah, pretty much they got Crunk to do Buzz Lightyear. It's not that bad. It is kind of an interesting show to see, like, Buzz Lightyear going out against like all these different aliens, and I wouldn't say it's the best one it's the best show I've seen. Like there are better alien shows, but it ain't bad. It's it's an interesting thing. It was something. I mean, it ran for like 2 seasons. So, yeah, I guess that's the most I could say about it.
Mm.
I do remember seeing the show as well. I guess I was a so-called Disney freak as a child. I used to watch Disney Channel all the time, so I get to see these shows you guys are talking about a lot. So I do remember seeing Buzz Lightyear Star Command, and I thought it was pretty interesting at the time. And I was like, wait, how's this continuity to the Toy Story show movie? And it's kind of is in a way where it's like it was a show that was within the movie, and it's kind of interesting seeing it through our eyes because it's like we're in the same universe as Toy Story in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dug that. It was pretty cool.
So yeah, the concept is like it was pretty genius in a way.
It was.
I never got really the chance to watch it, so I can't really be the judge.
I'm actually even surprised that I still remember the scenarios that happen in Buzz Lightyear Star Command, let alone remember the characters. But then again, they do feature them prominently in Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin at Disney World. Maybe at Disneyland also, but yeah. Like, it's still, I guess, like, it still has a bit of a significance that Disney is still aware about these Buzz Lightyear characters.
Yeah, this happened,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not ashamed to show it.
No, I guess that's the only show they weren't ashamed of showing off. They're like, oh, let's just use these characters in our stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Like, they don't even do that with House of Mouse, and that was one badass show.
Oh yeah, that was like, oh man, I used to watch that shit too.
I know, man.
That was like one of the best Disney shows they ever did.
Oh, definitely, man. I think someone described it as D23 before D23.
Yes, yes, that's sums it up very perfectly.
D23, what's that?
You don't know D23? That's like that's pretty much Disney's fan hub, in a sense.
Mm.
So,
Guess I better
yeah.
check it out.
Yeah. Don't do it. Do it.
So let's hop it to James to talk about his last show on his list.
The last show that I have is finally escaping from the Disney curse here, on my end at least. I picked Freddy's Nightmares. Mm-hmm. At the height of the popularity of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, sometime in the mid 80s comes a little series called Freddy's Nightmares. And what this is a horror anthology series. It was it serves in a sense as a continuation of the universe of the films, as well as its own series. This was somewhere on the TV timeline in between everything that Rod Stewart ever did, and Rod Serling. That was a big.
Rod Stewart, really? I didn't know he was involved with that franchise.
You're into the Twilight Zone. Everything that Rod Serling ever did, and Tales from the Crypt. This was sort of smack dab right in the middle there. I think this was also the same era where that had the Friday the 13th series. So maybe there was a connection there, a business connection. Um, the reason why I think it counts is because with the first episode of the series, they they actually have um, a prequel to the first Nightmare on Elm Street film. The whole backstory behind Freddy was that he was a child napper who got kidnapped, who got he
Which one,
got
child killer?
child killer, child napper and killer. He did a little bit of both, and there was some fun had in between probably, but um
That was in the remake.
oh, I didn't see that.
Good.
But in any case, with with the pilot story here, they have the story of Freddy getting caught with with a kid in the cabinet and basically burned alive. And the way that the way that the series this particular episode ends itself is the leader of the mob, of the angry mob. Um, and this is actually kind of a disturbing moment, but maybe it's just because of my whole. I have a thing about teeth. He falls asleep. This guy,
Oh, this
uh,
episode, yes.
yes, falls asleep while he's having a dental operation going on, and he dreams about Dr. Freddy giving him a giant drill.
Yeesh.
Who's next?
Wow.
Maybe it's you.
Mm-hmm.
How about let's put on some music? I wanna be a dentist because I like to cause things pain.
Son, be a dentist. I actually knew. Um, I actually knew the. Actually, have a funny connection with Robert England. I know. I used to know. Well, used to know. I still know his nephew. We went to high school together, and that was one thing that was the one most popular thing that this guy was known for was his uncle was Freddy Krueger. But he was the guy to go to also to get signatures from fans, you know. So if you wanted an autographed Freddy picture, you know the kid to talk to.
Cool.
Um, so that was the pilot episode. The rest of the episodes were different stories taking place in the same town as the Nightmare films, but but not specifically dealing with Freddy. He was just
The host?
the bookend host for the show,
Oh, okay.
and it's a little bit interesting to see different things going on in that same town, but I dare say after after the after the pilot, you know, there wasn't much else to see. Or at least
Yeah,
maybe there was, I just didn't see enough episodes.
yeah, because like just listening through the concept, I feel like they're like, what's really the point of this show? Because this is because from the sounds of it, it sounds nothing more than just like a ripoff of something like Hitchcock Presents or Tales from the Crypt or stuff like that. I mean, sure you got Freddy Krueger as the host, but like other than that, what else does your show what else does the show have that makes it stand out from either Hitchcock or Twilight Zone? You know?
Yeah,
Nothing really.
No, I was just thinking of Friday the 13th series because it had nothing to do with the fucking films because it was just an anthology series like the ones you mentioned, but it has no mention of Freddy at all. I mean, fucking
Jason.
Jason, thank you. Had a brain fart there. So it's just like it reminds me of Friday the 13th a little bit, but with a little bit of Freddy in there at least.
I've seen a few episodes, and from what I can understand, they're trying to focus more on the kids of Elm Street and their nightmares, and you have Freddy being sort of the Rod Serling puppeteer of the batch, and there are times where he does intervene and sort of messes with their heads a bit. And I can see that concept working, but of course, to the fullest extent, it's really more on the kids and less of Freddy. Freddy is more of the overseer of what's happening to them. I remember there's this episode called Safe Sex, I kid you not, about this character that's going through puberty or something like that, and he's having these vivid nightmares about doing it with this girl, and he's squeamish about it, and he succumbs to it, and I can't remember exactly what happens.
Succumbs to it.
But I do recall, and this is true, there actually is a deleted sequence which they showed on the Never Sleep Again documentary where there's a nightmare sequence that is truncated in the final edit, which originally went a whole lot longer, where he has a nightmare where he's having sex with this chick, and then Freddy bursts out of the chick, and it makes it look as if Freddy is riding on the kid, and he's all like, "Yeah, is that sound sort enough for you?"
Wow.
Watch the documentary. They show that clip. They show that clip when they're talking about the show. It is worth it. But from what I've heard, they were pushing the boundaries of the show, trying to make it gorier and outlandish. But the problem was that this is a show for syndicated television, so obviously there'd be extra bits of violence, gore, and stuff that I just mentioned that were too outlandish for stuff like that. So if they sold it to HBO, I can see it working there because of the unlimited possibilities of being it over the top. But it's supposed to be broadcasted on a channel like CBS or maybe CW, for example, and that can really cause a lot of problems. So I think that's what really killed the show in the end was the concept and because of its limit in the territory of its own genre. And even there were some parent outrage against the nature of the show in general, even though it was like short-lived or something. But like I said, if you really want to get a full detailed idea of what it really is like, I suggest just to look at that segment from the Never Sleep Again documentary. You'll get a really, really good idea of what they were going for. And this was before Tales from the Crypt, so it was a good
Yeah.
predecessor to that.
Oh, okay. Well,
But I
Mm-hmm.
still wish
So,
they went with a more violent version, because at the very least, Nightmare on Elm Street knew when to bring on the gore, and this TV show really waters it down, and you can just see that in the censored clips collection they include on the documentary. They have like hearts taken out, there's like blood spattering, it's insane.
jeez.
So if they went
I
with
missed
that,
out.
if they had those bits in and they sold it to like a cable network like Showtime or Cinemax, the show would have life. But because it was directed straight to syndicated television, I think that's where it had its death the quickest.
Mm. That would make sense.
Yeah.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely. But
And
now we have Tales from the Crypt, which is pretty much technically the exact same thing. Even with
Mm-hmm.
a even with a creepy host that likes to dish out some puns.
That's John Casser for you.
which scared the hell out of me as a kid.
I love the Crypt
Oh
Keeper. I don't
yeah.
care.
Oh my
I watched the cartoon version, so
Of
What a
course. And so did I.
what a contrast. My mother wouldn't let me watch that show or the cartoon.
So let's wrap it up with the last show from Morgan.
Say with me, everybody, though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary, ghostly hauntings I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Ah,
Oh, the animated series.
yeah.
And here's the ironic thing. I saw this show first as a kid, and I saw the movie later. And I like the idea of this crazy supernatural being sort of befriending this girl who has, his own teen troubles and stuff like that. And just the idea of expanding on the universe of the Neither world, having these kooky characters, these neighbors he keeps pestering and stuff. A whole lot of fun. And I find it weird that I didn't see the Tim Burton movie until I was like 8 or 9, I believe, which is weird. Because it's like I knew the movie existed, but I never got the advantage or courage to see it. I don't know why. And when I finally did, I kept thinking to myself, "Where's Lydia? Oh, there's Lydia, but she's played by Winona Ryder. Why are the main characters these two ghostly spirits that died and they're going through the whole thing? Okay, why is there little Beetlejuice? Why is he a villain? Who are these people? Which came first, the movie or the cartoon? What is this?" And it's not like I didn't hate the movie. I enjoyed it, but again, growing up so much on the expanded universe of the show, which was also produced by Tim Burton,
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of a weird contrast that you have something for kids and yet a comedy horror for adults. I mean, today I would watch it now and I'd be fine with it. When jumping back to the TV show, it's the complete opposite. I'd be thinking to myself, they really did a number targeting this for kids in sort of its fun, kooky way, and the sad thing is, that's what really got me hooked. Again, this crazy antagonist, which is unlikable but yet likable at the same time. He's selfish but knows when to have a kind heart. He pesters his neighbors but only for the fun of it. Just seriously, his
Mm-hmm.
neighbors are a tap dancing spider, a French skeleton, and a big hairy monster that looks like the lost cousin of It mated with Gossamer. Buy me that.
It
And
made it with Gossamer.
Although, Morgan, there is one thing that I want to mention is that
yes,
when you said that it's kind of weird how they made the TV show aim more for kids and adults, like the movie, which was originally made for adults, we had this conversation earlier. When we talked about RoboCop, and RoboCop was the TV show was aimed for kids, while the movie was pretty much for adults.
yeah.
And oddly enough, during the '80s, that was kind of a repetitive theme to turn like all these rated R, intensely violent movies and turn them into like kids TV shows. Like some examples would even include like there's
Rainbow.
one of Rambo. Yeah, there's Rambo. There's I'm sure there are a few others. Hold on.
Karate
Let me.
Kid.
Yeah, Karate Kid. Well, is Karate Kid? No, Karate Kid is more for kids
Well,
ish.
Karate Kid even got a little more ridiculous with the flying plane concept and the additional members team, so it's kind of like the Mr. T crew as opposed to the Karate Kid show.
You can argue also. Technically, you can argue Back to the Future and Dumb
So
and Dumber.
I don't know that if you look at the Wikipedia page for
No,
RoboCop animated series, they
no,
say that the
dead
animated series
Cassidy, you are
was
not Doc Brown.
the animated series was derivative from source material and mature themes such as Robo: The Force of Freedom, Mortal Kombat: Defenders of the Realm, Police Academy, and Toxic Avengers or Crusaders.
Or another one, Highlander, got an animated series.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
G-rated decapitations. What's next?
How does that work?
So yeah, it's not new to that because it's got a big enough following, and they're like, okay, let's target us to kids. Let's just introduce kids to this character. See how badass he is. See how it goes with that.
Mhm.
True, but RoboCop is more action-orientated, whereas Beetlejuice is more supernatural, so there's a lot
True.
more you can get away with.
True. I was just referring to the action stuff, not just the supernatural.
And that opens up the door to a whole lot of fantasy sort of elements which the show dives into, especially the
Exactly.
character, the hatred of sandworms, the fact that he has these supernatural powers, so it really taps into a lot here. Whereas RoboCop, it's your basic action-orientated, cop-themed kind of buddy comedy, whatever mixtape sort of show, especially as you mentioned the cliches there.
Yep.
That woman, get me RoboCop.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. They're trying to.
RoboCop!
Dang it, woman, get me Beetlejuice.
These shows try to. These shows try to expand the movie universe. They try to expand it with new things for fresh eyes to see. And that's where all these shows come from. They just like, let's see how this works and go with it. And as we learned in this episode, we learned that if it's on network, it's not going to work very well. If it's on cable, it's going to be very successful with a lot of episodes.
But if it's animated, you still got better luck.
Eh,
Nowadays, it wouldn't make a difference.
no. The part of the reason why I want to do this episode is recently Disney announced that Disney Junior is going to have a show called The Lion Guard, which is based on The Lion King, which features Simba's son, I believe.
Yeah, his second kid and his son.
How many kids has that hoe had yet?
It's only his second kid. Calm the fridge down, dude.
And
how many kids can she pop out for every single sequel?
So and I quote, the show is marketed as Lion King meets the Avengers because Simba's son has to gather this ragtag crew to defend the Pride Lands or something.
I don't know why they mentioned the Avengers. Like, are they gonna do like a major crossover with characters from the Jungle Book and Tarzan and stuff like that?
They just mention it because it's featuring a team of, like a team. I don't know. It was interesting how they said that.
Okay.
But mind you, that this is a Disney Junior series, so it might be one of those like a Mickey Mouse Club where it's breaking the fourth wall, talking to the kids, and counting, and like another one was
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Shut up.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
I actually had a really embarrassing moment when I saw a clip of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. There was it was like an Easter special, and I didn't know. It was like Mickey Mouse was holding, Mickey Mouse was holding this ball thing, and it was like, do you know what this is? It's like, yeah, that's a ball. That's an egg. It's like, oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, so it's gonna be one of those shows where it talks to the kids and they
Look
make
at the
them
size of my
answer.
egg.
Like there was another one. It was Jake and the Neverland Pirates or something.
Oh God.
That's another one.
Captain Hook. No, it doesn't add up. They're supposed to be pirates, not kids.
My God,
That show is bloody nice. Too bloody nice. I mean, good God. You want to go to Neverland to be a kid, not a motherfucking pirate adult. The morals are backwards. I saw episodes of this at the laundromat when I had to dry towels. It's so stupid. It's the same thing as the Mickey Mouse whatever clubhouse, but with Captain Hook as this little pink-faced teddy bear-like character and
What?
Yeah. Peter Pan was my childhood. The idea that he could go to a place and never grow up. Bing! What do they come along with? Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Kids that want to be pirates. The allegory of J.M. Barrie's work is legitimately removed from under our feet. Thank you!
Still, Captain Hook got better treatment than Maleficent did in her movie. Just saying.
And I thought most of it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't a good movie. I just thought it was decently enjoyable in the vein of Legend or Hook, but still.
Yep. So
Still,
Yeah.
still,
There's
whatever
better.
they did with
Hey.
whatever they did with Captain Hook, it's much better than turning the greatest Disney villain into a freaking fairy godmother. Just saying.
No, she wasn't a fairy godmother. I took that
She
as a joke. I
No,
took that
that
as
was
a
for
joke.
no, that
The
was for
way
real.
the
That was for real.
We're fighting
way
over Maleficent, aren't we great?
the way the kid said that was in the guise of a joke, and I took
No,
it
it ain't.
as a joke. The
No,
whole
it
audience I saw this movie with laughed
No,
and
it
said
ain't.
joke.
We'll talk about this later.
if you guys
Remind
can,
me to get a ticket. Remind me to get a ticket to a plane so I can fly over there and actually have a roving conversation about this. Jesus.
okay,
Ugh.
it's time to figure out what the next episode is of this podcast. In the game we like to call Cinema Password.
The Mr. Rogers reboot they recently did was more credible than what I'm hearing today.
There's a Mr. Rogers reboot.
Yes,
It's a
it's set in it's set in the land of make believe, and the main character is a tiger, and he has like the same attire as Mr. Rogers.
Oh.
Directed by Michael Bay.
funny.
Would you
Um,
like to be my friend?
Oh,
Okay, that I can actually vouch for.
don't give me a don't
Meow, 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 meow.
don't give me into that. We'll talk about Michael Bay another day.
Uh,
So I told of the screening. I shouldn't say that. I gave a sneak peek to the next topic to James and Matt. So Morgan's completely in the dark this time for probably the first time actually.
oh, joy.
I'm trying to think of how to.
So happy.
So for those of you at home, here's the password. Trying to. I'm trying to think of a clever way to.
Where? Where is it?
It's on the screen, right below your face.
I see nothing but links.
Alright, I'm gonna give you the most obvious clue ever in the history of clues.
Oh, sure, we're doing the Indiana Jones franchise, but yet we don't do the Ghostbusters franchise.
No, it's not.
Foot.
It's
Foot.
not.
It's Monty Python foot?
No,
No.
no. He plays this character. He plays this character.
Oh, you.
Movies by Harrison Ford.
There you go. I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to recreate the incident.
Incident.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, the ankle breaking bit that's causing him to go out of
Yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah.
Episode 7 for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be like his last name sort of sounds like Ford, Ford.
If I would go with his last name, I'd show Morgan a picture of a car.
Henry Ford!
Yes. Yes. So
Uh,
we're getting into Harrison Ford tomorrow. Tomorrow. Fuck's sake. Next 2 weeks.
tomorrow? This is very early production work.
Wow.
I was gonna see Transformers 4 with the family.
So next 2 weeks.
I don't care if it's gonna be bad. Optimus Prime on dinosaurs. Come
No.
on, people.
Yeah. Just let me say
Sorry.
that next time we do the podcast, it's gonna be Harrison Ford's birthday. So we're celebrating Harrison Ford's birthday, basically,
Yay!
by talking about his films.
You know what that means, kids? We gotta get together to see Witness.
or Cowboys and Aliens.
Witness is
Mm.
better. Dude, he's an FBI agent hiding with the Amish. How is that not entertaining? He even beats up a guy in his Amish gown.
Isn't Witness like a Jack Ryan film?
No.
Okay.
No?
He played Jack Ryan a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, clear and present danger in Patriot games, which we already talked about, or at least I did.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Still have to revisit those.
Yes. So with that, hopefully this episode will be uploaded and recorded, because last time it did not. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I am Mike. Remember, long live cinema.
This is
Ciao for now.
awkward silence. All right, see you later, dudes.
This is Maury Ledger saying, I don't give two shits about the Lego movie, and I did see it.
Morgan, you can't do that. You can't say crap like that.
I am a
I don't
chicken
care.
in a maze.
Matthew Broderick as me? No way. He's too white bread. Two-dimensional. Tootsie. Goodbye. This is television. This is real.